Coronation Street spoilers. Tim saved from death as he and Sally are reunited after trauma. Tim Metcalf is alive after being attacked and left to die by Stephen Reed in Coronation Street. Friday's episode of the ITV soap saw Stephen's reign come to an end after Peter drove into him, causing his death. While the Weatherfield residents tried to process everything Stephen had done, including attacking Sarah and holding Jenny hostage, Sally and Elaine were still desperately trying to find information on Tim's whereabouts. Tim disappeared at the start of last week after being brutally beaten by Stephen, who then moved an unconscious Tim into the boot of his car and prepared to set the vehicle on fire. Still trapped in Monday's episode, Tim scrambled around to try and find a way to escape. Fortunately, he opened the boot with a screwdriver and tumbled onto the floor. Tim had cuts and bruises all over his face and had been without food and water for 2 nights. He wasn't in a good way at all. Tim managed to get into the car, drank the small amount of water from a bottle in the glove compartment and then used his radio to communicate with someone on the other line. That someone was Peter, who raced over from the precinct so Sally could speak to him. When the radio dipped out, Peter, Sally and Elaine headed to the station to talk to DS Swain. While in the lobby area, topic of conversation once again turned to Peter hitting Stephen. Peter argued that during the moments leading up to the collision, he knew it was going to be a case of Stephen dying, or Jenny. Declaring that the right person died, Peter had no idea DS Swain was overhearing the entire conversation, which then gave her enough grounds to have Peter arrested for murder. Elsewhere, with the search continuing for Tim, he realized he had no choice but to start walking through the woods and hope he'd eventually comes across a road. Thankfully, he did, and as soon as Tim saw a car coming, he shouted and flagged it down. Tim was then rushed to hospital where he was finally roommated with Sally. Tim's ordeal may be over for now, but what long-term repercussions will this have on him?
Xin chào các bạn đã quay trở lại UK Soát Spoiler. Vừa rồi các bạn đã theo dõi một sản phẩm của chúng tôi, UK Soát Spoiler, một kênh tin tức chuyên cung cấp cho các bạn những thông tin mới nhất về những bộ phim xà phòng của Vương quốc Anh.